Shadows over New York. The night over New York was unusually clear, the stars glinting above skyscrapers like scattered jewels. For a brief moment, the city basked in peace, until the heavens tore open. A jagged rift spread across the sky, burning violet and crimson. Out of the void drifted a ship so massive it blotted out the moon, its shape like a blade forged for war. Its hull pulsed with strange runes, and at its center, a glowing crystal orb hummed with hunger. Then came the roar, not mechanical, not human, but alive. From within the vessel spilled hundreds of winged creatures, their bodies like molten steel wrapped in black carapace. Their wings shimmered with shifting cosmic light as they descended like a storm of locusts. On the rooftop of a midtown high-rise, a man in a hoodie dropped his coffee and screamed as a creature smashed into the street below, tearing through cars. Sirens wailed. Civilians ran in chaos as the swarm spread, ripping power lines, feeding on electricity, turning lampposts into spires of alien flesh metal. And then the ground shook. Thor, god of thunder, descended with a crack of lightning that shattered the pavement. Mjolnir, reborn in his hand after the reforging, glowed with stormlight. His eyes burned with blue fire as he took in the horror. Midgard, he muttered grimly. Always besieged first. The swarm screeched and dived at him. Thor swung Mjolnir in a thunderous arc, hurling a bolt that vaporized a cluster of them mid-air. But as the smoke cleared, Thor's brow furrowed. The energy had not merely dispersed, it had been absorbed. A deep, resonant laugh echoed across the city. High above, standing at the prow of the monstrous ship, was a towering figure clad in jagged obsidian armor streaked with violet veins of energy. His helmet resembled a crown of horns, and in his hands he held the ether core, a sphere of pulsing cosmic light. "I am Korthar the Void-Forged," the voice boomed, shaking windows. "Your world bleeds energy, and I shall drink it dry. Your storms, your fire, your strength, all will feed the Hive." Thor gritted his teeth. "Not while breath remains in me." The god of thunder hurled Mjolnir upward, aiming for Korthar himself. The hammer flew like a meteor, but Korthar raised the core lazily. A ripple of violet energy pulsed outward, and Mjolnir froze mid-flight, its stormlight siphoned into the core before it fell harmlessly to the ground. Thor's jaw clenched. He had faced gods, titans, and madmen, but never something that fed on the very essence of his power. The ground quaked again. This time it wasn't the swarm. A taxicab was flung into the air, exploding against a building. Out from the smoke charged Hulk, roaring with primal fury. His green skin glistened with sweat and dust as he smashed into a swarm cluster, sending alien bodies flying in every direction. He tore one in half, then crushed another underfoot, his rage fueling him like a storm of flesh and muscle. "Big Bug Man talks too much," Hulk bellowed, smashing a chunk of concrete into the swarm. Korthar tilted his head curiously at the green behemoth. Primitive strength. Beautiful fuel. He raised the core, and Hulk's roar turned into a grimace as his muscles strained. The energy within him tugged, as if something was pulling at the very force of his existence. "Hulk, no, give energy," he roared, smashing the ground to anchor himself. The core flickered, but it was clear Hulk alone couldn't resist it for long. Just as the tide threatened to overwhelm them, the night sky lit with a streak of golden fire. A glowing figure shot through the swarm at impossible speed, slicing through alien ranks like a blazing comet. She crashed into the street beside Thor and Hulk, landing in a burst of shockwaves. Captain Marvel. Her short hair glinted under the city lights, her eyes glowing with cosmic energy as she stood between her allies and the swarm. She gave a quick nod. "Guess I showed up just in time." Thor smirked despite the chaos. Carol Danvers. Midgard's Starfire returns. Hulk, still struggling against the core's pull, gave a grunt. "Shiny lady help Hulk smash?" "Always." She rose into the air, her body blazing with binary energy. She unleashed a concentrated photon blast at the swarm, disintegrating dozens in a blinding flash. But again, the same result. The light was funneled into the ether core, making it glow even brighter. Korthar's laughter echoed like a drumbeat of doom. "Yes, more. Feed me more." Carol's eyes narrowed. "He's absorbing everything we throw at him." Thor wiped blood from his lip. Lightning, strength, cosmic fire. His cursed relic devours it all. "Then we find another way," Captain Marvel snapped, determination burning in her voice. She looked around at the city. Smoke rising from collapsed bridges, terrified civilians trapped under rubble, the swarm spreading through every street. New York was turning into a nightmare hive before their eyes. Hulk smashed another wave of creatures aside, breathing heavily. If Bugman takes more, no New York left to save. Korthar raised the core high, and its glow expanded, forming a dome of violet light that stretched across half the skyline. Skyscrapers buckled as their very energy was leached into the relic. Screens flickered and died, cars went silent, even the air grew thin with unnatural stillness. Thor, Carol, and Hulk regrouped amid the devastation, their usual confidence shaken. For once, their strength wasn't enough. "Divide and conquer won't work," Carol said, hovering above them. "He's pulling everything into that core. We need to hit him together, or not at all." Thor nodded slowly. "A combined strike, like lightning, sun, and storm in one. But the timing must be perfect." Hulk growled, cracking his knuckles. "Hulk smash with friends." Above, Korthar's voice thundered once more. "Your resistance amuses me. Struggle. Rage. Burn." The hive grows stronger with each defiance. The three heroes stood amid the ruins of the city, eyes locked on the impossible enemy above. Shadows spread across New York, and for the first time, Earth's mightiest looked not like victors, but underdogs. And yet, the storm of their defiance was only beginning. Gods and monsters united. The alien dome of violet light expanded over Manhattan, smothering the city in unnatural silence. Cars sat dead in the streets, their engines drained of life. Skyscrapers flickered like dying candles. And in the heart of it all, Korthar the Void-Forged raised the ether core higher, drinking in every spark of energy. Thor clenched Mjolnir, fury in his eyes. "Every strike we give, he grows stronger. Midgard cannot withstand this." Hulk smashed a twisted alien drone into rubble. Then Hulk hit harder, he roared, but even he noticed, his rage no longer felt infinite. Something was pulling at his strength, draining him with every breath. Captain Marvel hovered above them, her glow dimmer than before. She narrowed her eyes, studying Korthar. "It's not just brute power he's feeding on. He's linked to the swarm, to the city, maybe even the planet. Everything fuels that core." A sudden screech echoed down Fifth Avenue as more swarm beasts emerged, their bodies fusing with street lamps, vehicles, and shattered steel beams. They weren't just invaders now, they were assimilating New York itself. Thor hurled lightning at the nearest cluster, but again the energy bent away, sucked into the core. His jaw tightened. "He mocks us, turning every weapon into his strength." Carol landed beside him, dust and sparks swirling around. "Then we stop thinking like gods. We fight like soldiers." Thor raised an eyebrow. "You would give counsel to the god of thunder?" "Only when you're losing," she shot back with a smirk. Hulk stomped the ground, drawing their attention. "Stop talking. Bugs keep coming." His fists slammed into the asphalt, sending shockwaves through a wave of swarm drones. For a moment, the trio stood shoulder to shoulder, the chaos of Midtown raging around them. Carol's eyes blazed brighter as a plan took shape. "Individually, he absorbs us. Together, maybe he can't handle it." Thor considered, recalling Asgardian lore. There are relics even in the 9 realms that faltered when struck by power from many realms at once. Perhaps this core is not so different. Korthar's laughter rolled across the skyline like thunder. Yes, combine your lights, your storms, your fury. Feed me until your world is ash. Hulk pounded his chest, teeth bared. Hulk, feed him fists. Thor cracked a smile. Then let us test this beast. Captain Marvel soared upward, cutting through the swarm with blazing arcs of photon energy. Hulk smashed a path through the horde on the ground, while Thor hurled Mjolnir to clear the skies. For the first time, their attacks were not meant to defeat Korthar, but to align, to time the impossible strike they would unleash together. As they fought, the city groaned under the alien invasion. Bridges cracked, streets buckled, and civilians trapped beneath rubble cried out. Yet hope flickered, for 3 forces of nature, gods and monsters united, had chosen to stand as one. And high above, Korthar watched with a smile, believing they were already his fuel. The rise against the void. The Brooklyn Bridge trembled under the weight of destruction. Violet flames licked the sky as Korthar's warship loomed above, its hull splitting open like a monstrous maw. The ether core pulsed wildly in his grasp, each beat draining the city's life force. Hulk roared and smashed another wave of drones into the river, but even he staggered, sweat streaming down his green skin. "Hulk, getting tired," he admitted through gritted teeth. Thor landed beside him, battered and scorched, his cape torn. Lightning sparked weakly from Mjolnir. "If we fail here, Midgard falls. We end this now." Captain Marvel hovered above them, her glow flickering. She clenched her fists, determination outweighing exhaustion. "Then we hit him together, storm, fury, and light. All at once." Korthar descended onto the bridge, each step cracking stone. His violet eyes burned as he raised the core. "Yes, combine yourselves. Become the feast that fuels the Hive eternal." The swarm encircled the heroes, the air vibrating with their screeches. Time was running out. Thor twirled Mjolnir, calling the storm until thunder cracked the heavens. Hulk crouched low, muscles coiled like mountains ready to erupt. Captain Marvel gathered her energy, her body igniting into binary fire brighter than the city's ruins. "Now!" Carol shouted. Hulk launched forward with a roar, leaping into the sky and smashing his fist toward Korthar. Thor hurled Mjolnir at the same instant, a spear of lightning tearing across the bridge. Carol fired a blazing cosmic flare, a star condensed into a single beam. The 3 forces collided in perfect unison. Fist, storm, and sunfire struck the core at once. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the core screamed. The sphere cracked, violet light spilling like liquid fire. Korthar howled as the energy he had stolen turned against him. The bridge shook violently as shockwaves rippled across the river, shattering swarm drones into ash. "No!" Korthar roared, dropping to his knees. "The Hive will never—" His words dissolved as the core shattered completely, erupting into a blinding explosion that lit the night like dawn. When the light faded, silence fell. The swarm was gone. Korthar's body lay shattered and still, his armor crumbling into dust. The warship above imploded, vanishing into the void. Hulk slumped onto the bridge, breathing hard. Hulk, really tired. Thor rested Mjolnir against the stone, gazing at the ruined skyline. Midgard stands, but the scars will linger. Captain Marvel floated down, her glow dimmed but her eyes fierce. "We stopped him. Together." For a long moment, the 3 of them stood side by side. God, monster, and soldier, watching as the first rays of morning broke over the devastated city. Earth had survived the rise of Korthar. But the void beyond the stars was vast, and the war was far from over.